Hi, it's Eli. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a January comeback review. First of all, I should introduce myself. I got a couple of new subscribers. Welcome, guys. My name is Eli. I am a college student studying music and dance at a conservatory. Does that mean I know anything about those two things? Probably not, but you know. Also, I want to have a more consistent posting schedule this term, so hopefully I can get out 2 to 4 videos a month depending on my schedule. Speaking of my schedule, there isn't every single comeback in January in this video because I'm very busy. I'm also a dual sport athlete and I work 3 jobs, and college is busy, especially at a conservatory. So I'm sorry if your faves aren't in here. Also, these are just my first impressions. I've been listening to these songs for about 3 days, so my opinions may change, and they are just my opinions. Feel free to leave your thoughts on these comebacks in the comments below, and all of the fan cams that I'm using will be linked below, so make sure you guys go check them out. Okay, let's get into it. Just kidding, I also have to mention really quick that I am recording this in a practice room, so if you hear miscellaneous music in the background, yeah, sorry for the background noise. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, first up we have itzy's comeback. I will be breaking down each song and then talking about my thoughts overall on the album at the end. Okay, first up we have Born to Be. I think this song is a very good opener for the album. It definitely establishes the soundscape that this concept is going for. I am not sure how I feel about the chorus. It's definitely very catchy, but it just felt a little flat for me. There was a lot more talking than singing in this song, but the vocals definitely lacked a bit of depth with Leah missing. The high notes were definitely a struggle, but I'm used to that from itzy with JYP trying to force them to sing out of their range. It wasn't too bad in this song, and honestly, on this album, I noticed that they were trying to have them sing within their range a lot more, which I appreciate. But that's honestly really all I had to say about it. It's a good opener, and the stages, oh my god, the live stages were so good. I love the dance. Finally, we got a dance break. I've been missing the dance break in their past few comebacks. They had great outfits. The live singing was good. A little bit of a tangent, but I've been thinking about doing analyses of live stages in K-pop and how to tell if they're live or not, so let me know if you guys would want something like that. Moving on, we have the title track, Untouchable. Now, I love this song. The instrumental popped off. It was so catchy, and the concept to me is very itzy, but just a bit more sophisticated. I've been in a period lately where my favorite groups have just been putting out comebacks that I do not enjoy, and itzy was one of those where they just had title tracks that I was not melding with, but I feel like we're finally getting back on track in terms of their identity and their concept, and hopefully not pushing their vocal ranges way outside of where they should be. Once again, I loved the stages, I loved the dance and the outfits. They did tend to sing less of it live than Born to Be, and by that I mean they were lip syncing to the backtrack a little more often, but the dance is significantly harder, so that is fine. I did notice that itzy has been doing a lot of hand focused choreography since Cheshire. I actually learned this dance, Untouchable, yesterday. Let me know if you guys want me to post a cover. Anyways, that's so off topic. But I was learning this yesterday and I was just noticing how their choreography has become a lot more focused on hand movements in the past few comebacks. Not to say that their footwork isn't there, because trust me, I was learning that dance yesterday and there is a lot of complicated footwork. But that's besides the point. Mr. Vampire. Now, this song it's complicated because I like it. I do like it now, but when I first listened to it, I was like, what is this? It was very chaotic, and I couldn't tell if it was a good type of chaos or a bad type of chaos. So I like the song. I actually really like the instrumental. It's giving me more space vibes than mythical vampire vibes, but I still really enjoy it. The chorus, I was not sure about the chorus, but I do like the rest of the song. And it ended up growing on me quite a bit, so it is up there with Born to Be as an 8 out of 10. I really liked the stages for this song as well. I thought they were cute, but the outfits were a little questionable. Next up, we are getting into it with Dynamite. I have heard this is a fan favorite, and I am just not seeing it. I'm not hearing it. I don't understand why people love this song. Itzy songs can have a very chaotic and confusing soundscape, and a lot of times they walk that barrier of being just enough to work or too much. And I believe this song goes into the too much category where the soundscapes and the production, it was just way too much all at once, and so that really took away from my enjoyment of it. I wrote in my notes, bridge kind of ate though, which is true. The bridge did eat, but the chorus I was not a fan of. It tried to be like sort of emo 20. Was anybody else getting that vibe where it was like emo 20 sort of a thing, but it really just didn't work? Okay, let's get into the solos. I was super excited when I saw they had solos on this album because I've been wanting more solo songs from them for a while. So, first up, we have Yeji's. So, we get some rock in the beginning that transitioned into smoother bass lines towards the end, which I think is very Yeji. I think that concept and soundscape fits her really well, but I do have some issues with the production. For me, it fell kind of flat. The guitar riff in the beginning over and over was a choice. Um, the chorus was really good, but I found that the rest of the song was kind of average for me. And, Yeji's exceptional, so I was looking for something pretty exceptional here, and I just didn't find it. I also found that the mixing was a little off. The vocals to me seemed just a tad too quiet for this type of song. And the ending, I have to mention the ending. The very end, those little beeping noises. I live in the United States, and that sounds exactly like our emergency alerts for like hurricanes and stuff. So that was not pleasant for me to listen to personally, but whatever. So, the second solo on the album is Leah's solo Blossom. I really liked this song. For me, it was just the perfect chill winter vibes. I don't know if anybody else got this from the instrumental, but it really reminded me of Wonderful Christmas Time. Leah naturally has a softer, milder vocal tone, and that works really well in this song. I miss Leah. She is my bias in itzy, and I'm sad that she can't be here for this comeback, but hopefully she will be back when she is ready to be. Miss you, Leah. And I know I'm about to get flamed for this, but I put my honest opinion on here. For these next three solos, I did not like them. First up, we have Runaway by Ryujin. The lyrics, to me, are less badass and more cringy. But even ignoring that, the production on this track is really just not working for me. The vocal mixing, again, is just weird. It feels too quiet in some parts. And the vocal effects, the smoothing on the vocals is a bit much for me personally. Especially on the high notes, it can sound just a little grating. Personally, I would have liked a different concept for her solo. I don't think it really matched as well as some of the other concepts for the other members did. I would have loved to hear something more cool or electronic from her. I think she would just eat up a hyperpop track, and maybe that wouldn't fit with the aesthetic of this album, but again, I just really didn't think this was her song. Next up, we have Chaeryeong's solo song. This one, I know everybody is saying it, but I totally, when I first listened to it, got like Sunmi vibes, but honestly, like Sunmi reject vibes. It could have been like a really massive serve, but the instrumental to me, and again, the mixing on the track just was not to my liking. It just fell a bit flat to me. And it also just felt a little generic, honestly. Chaeryeong is a really unique idol and a unique dancer, and I was hoping for something a little bit more unique with her. Next up, we have Yuna. Now, I can't say that I was expecting this concept from her, but I also can't say that it doesn't fit, but I also can't say that I love it. This song is very youthful and playful and cute, which is definitely a concept that works for Yuna as the magne, and so I don't think that's necessarily the issue. The issue for me is that I don't prefer her as a vocalist. I was really hoping to see a rap heavy track from her because I think that is one of her best assets. So I was disappointed that they went for a more vocal heavy route instead of rapping. And lastly, we have Escalator. This song tried to be what Born to Be and Untouchable were, but it just did not match up. The lyrics were, I don't even know what was going on with the lyrics, but I guess it doesn't matter that much in the context of this song. The chorus was catchy, but I really didn't like it, and so I just had this chorus in my head constantly that I did not like. It just felt a little bit all over the place and a little bit boring at the same time. The bridge, especially, was just out of nowhere. I actually enjoyed the build to the final chorus, but I really did not like that final breakdown in chorus. I think it was not necessary, and this whole song was just not the best way to end off the album because otherwise it was a pretty good album, if we're looking at group tracks. I was really confused why they didn't put Born to Be on Spotify right when it came out, because, like, I would have streamed that song if it was on Spotify, but it wasn't. The concept reminded me a lot of Kill Shot from their last EP. That song felt out of place on that EP, but it definitely was a good lead up into this album. In conclusion, Yuna absolutely slayed that red hair. Next up, we have Stay for the Night. I definitely like this song, but it just wasn't super memorable to me. It was simple, but it definitely had very good, clean production and mixing, which worked in its favor. It's good for what it's trying to be, a very chill, relaxing song. It doesn't build much or go anywhere, but it doesn't really need that to be a good song. It just really didn't stick with me very much, and so that is why I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I'm trying to keep these reviews pretty succinct, so I'm sorry if I'm not giving you enough detail, but I have quite a bit to get through before my 150 class, so okay, let's get into nmixx. Now, I had not heard this album until a couple of days ago. I had been meaning to listen to it forever, but I had heard very good things about it. I had heard Album of the Year being thrown around, so I was very excited to listen to it, and I would say that it did not disappoint. First up, we have Dash. I love the beginning of the song. This is the beginning of the album, and it really, really grabs your attention. When I first heard it, I immediately thought that this is what the nmixx concept of, change up, mix pop should be. The change ups felt very natural and just well executed, the best they've been executed so far in their discography, so I was very happy with that. I loved the small little slowdown, the layering, the vocal effects. This track was just well constructed. The only complaint I have is about the ending. It really just left me wanting one more vocal line, just one more little something there at the end, and so that's really the only negative thing I have to say. It's a very good song. This song to me was very unexpected, but definitely not unwelcome. Their title tracks in the past have just been really overwhelming and just not to my taste at all, but I really liked this one. It's definitely my favorite nmixx title track so far. Everything start to finish was just good. The change ups again felt natural, and I'm so glad that they're finally doing something good with that concept. The vocals. The vocals are amazing, there's no question about that, but the specific layering and harmonies that they do in this track are just so good. The Lily Haewon harmony at that one spot, I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm talking about, was just actually glorious. I loved it. And this type of harmony and layering you really don't see from anyone else in fourth gen, and it's something that I've really missed as a K-pop stan listening to this music. I'm like, wow, this is great, but it would be so much better if they just added another vocal line or a harmony or something. And I find that I don't have to wish that with nmixx because they're always doing that. Run for Roses was a very interesting track. I actually didn't like it that much at first, but it grew on me so fast and so strong. At first, I really wasn't that much of a fan of the differences between the chorus and the verses. I really, really loved the bass line in the choruses, and I was like, it would have been better if that had continued throughout the whole song. But honestly, the more I listened to it, the more I realized that that was wrong. I love the instrumental, I love the fiddle, I love all of it. I think the switch between the verses and the chorus, that juxtaposition works really well. I just get this really hopeful, going up against the odds vibe from this song that I love. And the chorus, I'm biased because that specific chord progression in the chorus, I always love that chord progression. It always makes me feel emotional for some reason, so I'm definitely biased on that, but I really, really love this song. Moving on to Boom, I have mixed feelings about this song. So, the first chorus, the first verse, second verse, honestly, most of the song was kind of meh for me. It was just, it wasn't necessarily nmixx. It could have been any other group's song. But the last minute of the song totally changed my whole opinion on it. That last minute with the tempo change and then the instrumental becoming a lot more bubbly and just upbeat. I wish they had made the whole song like that. Honestly, I think that would have been better and worked with nmixx's concept more. Moving on to Passion Fruit, I like this song. It's upbeat and fun. It's got a really well produced instrumental. The softer rapping, especially, was nice in this track, but I wouldn't say it was necessarily a standout on this album. It was enjoyable. It wasn't a filler track, but it also didn't grab my attention like a lot of the other songs on the album did. So that's really all I have to say about it. XOXO. The first thing that jumped out to me about this song was the bass line. It was so bouncy and just, I love, if you've watched my other reviews, I just love bouncy bass lines. The vocals were great. They took a lighter approach to the vocals and they just sounded really pretty, is the word that I would use. I love the snare. I love the build up at the end. It keeps the song interesting, but still on the more laid back side. I liked the ending as well. I thought it was worked well with the song. And yeah, it was just a good song. Most of the songs on this album are just good songs. Finally, we have Break the Wall, and I do think this was a good way to end off the album. The chorus was good. That specific chord progression, again, I'm sorry, I'm going a little music theory, so I won't get too far into it. But I found that there are these specific chord progressions that make me just really, really like a song, even if I don't like the rest of it, if they have those chords in it. But I do actually like the rest of the song. The bridge was good, the breakdown at the end was good. The strings to me were unexpected, but they added a lot to the instrumental and made the song what otherwise would have been an okay song to a very good song. So, yeah. Next up, we have IVE's English solo debut. I believe that's what it was. Anyways, it's an all English single featuring Saweetie. Okay. I was very disappointed with this one. The vocal production, especially, was so heavy handed. Like, the vocals were smoothened to the point that I could not tell who was singing or if they were all singing. I could not tell anyone's vocal colors apart at all. It was just so auto tuned. The instrumental was very classic EDM beat drop. That was fine. I liked Sweetie's part in there. I thought it fit nicely, but this was just a letdown from IVE because I love IVE's discography. I think they have a really unique sound. And so for them to put out something just overly auto-tuned and generic was disappointing. That's really all I have to say about it. It will not be going on the playlist, unfortunately. Love is a love, 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 love. And finally, we have Love Wins All by IU. I really enjoyed this song. The beginning, for some reason, gave me Olivia Rodrigo vibes with the piano. I don't know if anybody else got that. Maybe that's just me. It was very sweet, very romantic. It had enough of a build to keep you interested, but not so much that it sort of undermined the meaning of the song. I loved, loved, loved the outro. And I also loved the part of her voice that she was in. She obviously opted for a softer head voice approach as opposed to belting some of the notes that she possibly could have. And she had a very soft and airy quality to her voice that just fit the song very well and elevated what could have been a meh song to a good song. Okay, that was it for today's video. Let me know if you have any topics or albums that you want me to cover or review. And I hope you guys have a good day. Bye. Mwah.